rejection is protection? Have you ever noticed how often rejection gets interpreted as failure? A door closes. People say no. Access is denied, and the first thing we assume is, something must be wrong with me. But Scripture tells a very different story. Apostle Peter writes, "To whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of God and precious." Let that land. Jesus Christ himself is described as rejected by men, and at the very same time, chosen by God. Those two things happen together, which means rejection is not proof of disqualification. If it were, Christ himself would have been disqualified. Instead, Scripture shows us that man's rejection and God's choosing can coexist, and often they do. Peter then turns it toward us and says that also, as lively stones are built up a spiritual house. In other words, this isn't just Christ's story, it's ours. We are called living stones. And stones don't get rejected because they have no value. They get rejected because they don't fit that structure. Stone might be passed over, set aside, or removed, not because it's flawed, but because it belongs somewhere else entirely. Sometimes rejection isn't protection from harm. Sometimes it's protection for purpose. You weren't kept out. You were preserved. Peter goes on. "And holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices, acceptable to God by Jesus Christ." Notice what matters here. Not acceptance by people, not approval, not applause, not access. What matters is being acceptable to God. And God's acceptance is not democratic. It doesn't require consensus. It doesn't follow popularity. What men disallow, God may be actively selecting. What men reject, God may call precious. So if you've been rejected, overlooked, excluded, misunderstood, that may not be evidence that you missed God's will. It may be evidence that you were never meant to be built into that house. Living stones are chosen carefully, placed intentionally, and set where they can carry weight. Sometimes the stone that doesn't fit the crowd is the one God has been shaping for something holy. Maranatha and Hosanna.